21 years have passed since the death of the national leader Heydar Aliyev. In the light of the ideas of the great leader, Azerbaijan, in 20 years, has traveled a path equal to a century. Our country has developed and become a powerful state. For Heydar Aliyev, who did not allow Azerbaijan to become a semi-colony, who liberated it with his successful and far-sighted policy, and who dedicated his entire life to the ideal of Azerbaijan, the restoration of territorial integrity, and the liberation of Karabakh from the occupation were the most sacred goals. This goal was realized by President Ilham Aliyev, who successfully continued his political course. The great leader, with great political foresight, clearly saw these days several decades ago. In the early 90s, in a situation where the country was in a very deplorable socio-political situation, he confidently and firmly stated that the day would come when the Azerbaijani people would restore their territorial integrity. And that day came. The will of the great leader was fulfilled by the victorious Supreme Commander-in-Chief, Ilham Aliyev. Taking into account the modern realities emerging in the world, President Ilham Aliyev resolutely continues the path of the great leader and steadily moves our country forward. Our president, who is deeply familiar with the intricacies of global politics and resolutely defends national interests, proves time and again that he is a worthy successor of the great personality, the great leader Heydar Aliyev, with his titanic activity. Although Heydar Aliyev is not physically with us today, the realization of his brilliant ideas, one after another, has been sweeter to Western Azerbaijanis than anyone else. The realization of the great leader's words, one after another, has further ignited the light of hope in the hearts of Western Azerbaijanis, because Heydar Aliyev, who dedicated his entire life to serving Azerbaijan, always carried the burden of the fate of Western Azerbaijanis on his shoulders. The great leader always noted in his speeches that the territory now called Armenia, Western Azerbaijan, Irivan Mahal, Goycha Mahal, Zangibaysha Mahal, Zangezur, Mamahalal, of these were lands inhabited by Azerbaijanis. The great leader, who expressed the suffering of our people with the words, when we say Goycha Mahal and Zangezur Mahal, our people's hearts ache, the people live with the desire for those lands, showed great attention and care to the issue of Western Azerbaijan, proceeding from the interests of the Azerbaijani people as a whole and the principle of justice. On December 12, the leadership of the Western Azerbaijan Community and members of the community visited the grave of the great leader in the Alley of Honor on the occasion of the commemoration day of the founder of independent Azerbaijan, National Leader Heydar Aliyev. Community representatives laid flowers in front of the grave of the national leader and commemorated his dear memory with deep respect and reverence.
Ermənistan tərəfindən doğma yurtlarından zorla çıxarılmış.
As the Western Azerbaijan Community, representing Azerbaijanis forcibly displaced from their native lands by Armenia and advocating for their right of return, we emphasize the special significance we attach to the Human Rights Day on December 10. This day, established in connection with the adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which forms the universal foundation of human rights and underpins our right of return, is a crucial reference point in our just cause. On this important day, we express our profound concern over Armenia's continued gross violations of human rights by denying the right of Western Azerbaijanis to return safely and with dignity. Additionally, we voice serious concerns over the grave injustices faced by the Azerbaijani people as a whole due to the policies of ethnic and religious discrimination pursued by certain foreign countries. It's particularly troubling that these countries attempt to mask their discriminatory and Azerbaijanophobic policies under the guise of human rights. Such hypocritical approaches inflict the greatest damage on the cause of human rights. We strongly condemn these racist policies and affirm our commitment to exposing such actions and redoubling our efforts to combat them. At the same time, we commend Azerbaijan's success under the leadership of President Ilham Aliyev in ending Armenia's 30-year occupation, thereby restoring the rights of hundreds of thousands of former internally displaced persons. Furthermore, we are grateful to President Ilham Aliyev for his efforts in ensuring the peaceful realization of the right of return of Western Azerbaijanis, including his historic message to the Second International Conference on the Right of Return, organized by our community on December 5-6, 2000. 24. This is a significant contribution to our right of return and the implementation of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights as a whole. We call on the international community to welcome and support ongoing efforts to facilitate the return of Western Azerbaijanis as an important contribution to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
The memory of the victims of the Hamamli earthquake was commemorated. Officials of the Western Azerbaijan Community and the regional community participated in the event. The event began with a minute of silence in memory of the great leader Heydar Aliyev, those who died for the motherland, and the victims of the earthquake. Chairman of the Western Azerbaijan Community, MP Aziz Alakbarli, briefed the participants of the event about deportation of the Western Azerbaijanis and the Hamamli earthquake. In his speech, Aziz Alakbarli touched upon the historical facts related to the earthquake and spoke about the impact of these events on the lives of Azerbaijanis living in Western Azerbaijan. He stated that many people lost their lives as a result of the earthquake that occurred on December 7, 1988. Tamraz Tagiev, the community's representative for the Narimanov district, also paid tribute to the victims of the earthquake in his speech. He expressed confidence that they would soon return to their ancestral lands, noting that organizing such events demonstrates that we have not forgotten our history. Deputy Chairman of the Western Azerbaijan Community, MP Hikmet Babayoglu, and academician Abel Maharamov briefly reviewed history in their speeches and recalled the difficult times that Western Azerbaijanis went through. It was also noted that every step is important for the return to Western Azerbaijan, and these measures serve to ensure that our people do not forget their history. Recall that on December 7, 1988, at 11:41 local time, an earthquake measuring 6.87.2 occurred in Armenia. The tremors, which lasted for 30 seconds, almost completely destroyed the city of Hamamli and 58 villages. The earthquake caused damage in 21 cities, including Gyumri and Kirovarkan, and in total, more than 300 settlements. The National Museum of Art hosted a ceremony of the issuance of postal stamp series reflecting the history of Western Azerbaijan, on the initiative of the Western Azerbaijan Community with support from the Ministry of Digital Development and Transport and Azepokt, LLC. The chairman of the Western Azerbaijan Community, Aziz Alakbarli, assessed the issuance of postal stamps as an important step. This is not just issuance of postal stamps, but rather than it is transferring of the truths of Western Azerbaijan from country to country, from home to home, from collection to collection, and from archive to archive. When we first started researching Western Azerbaijan, the postal stamps issued during the Tsarist Russian period related to the city of Yerevan helped us. These postal stamps once again confirmed that Yerevan was historically a Muslim city. Today, through these postal stamps, we will present images of Western Azerbaijan, along with pictures of its personalities and monuments, to the global community. Our joint efforts in this direction will continue in the future as well. Alakbarli said. The Deputy Minister of Digital Development and Transport, Samir Mammadov, in turn stated that to date, Azepokt has issued a number of historically significant and important stamps. According to him, these stamps are an important tool for promotion. Western Azerbaijan is our ancient land. This is confirmed by many historical documents. Stamps are also a proof of this. Additionally, historical documents and archive materials have repeatedly presented these proofs to the global community. The themes of the stamps were carefully selected by the organizers. Specifically, the 7 sets of stamps focus on reflecting the political history, architecture, and culture of Western Azerbaijan. Accordingly, the stamps feature portraits of the last Khan of the Yerevan Khanate, Huseyin Khan Sardar, a coin minted during the reign of Fath Ali Shah Qajar, the Sardar Palace, the Sardar Mosque, the Blue Mosque, as well as portraits of Ashug Ali and Ashug Alaskar, who are considered representatives of the Yerevan Ashug school. Moreover, one of the sets is dedicated to the paintings The Capture of Yerevan Fortress by Russian artist Franz Alexievich Rubo, painted in 1886, and The Blue Mosque in Yerevan by French artist Frédéric du Montpré, painted in 1833. Thus, historical reality is reflected in the new stamps through these ancient works of art. The stamp cancellation ceremony was held with the joint participation of Samir Mammadov, the Deputy Minister of Digital Development and Transport, Isi Mustafayev, the acting chairman of Azepokt LLC, Azia Zia Al-Akbali, the chairman of the Western Azerbaijan Community, and other representatives. The artistic part of the event continued with a program dedicated to Yerevan music.